Hello and welcome to everybody on Cloud Fitness. So today's video is in continuation to my Azure Synapse Analytics Play series, and this is part 14 in that. So previously I have created a video on T-sql statements, and I stated that I will be creating more videos on the T-sql statements that we can use in Azure Synapse Analytics, and we have already discussed regarding create table statement. We have done a hands-on session on create table statement, and now today's video we will do a hands-on session on create table as select statement in Azure Synapse Analytics. So this is also called as CTAS statement, CTAS, and we will be doing hands-on session. We will be seeing what are the different things that we can do out of this create table as select statement. So these are the 4 T-sql statements that I will be covering in my 4 videos back to back. So 13 was on create table statement, and now this video is on create table as select, and the other two videos, upcoming videos, will be on create external table and create external table as select statement. So when you talk about CTAS statement, this is basically one of the, of course, this is one of the most important T-sql feature, but there are various things that can be done from this CTAS statement. So 4 of them I have mentioned here. So I will be covering more than these in the hands-on session. I'll just show you in like couple of seconds. So you can recreate a table using CTAS statement. Like if you want to change the distribution of the table, in that case you can go ahead and use CTAS statement. Regarding distribution, I have already created a video. You can go ahead and check that out. So in case you want to query or import external data, in that scenarios as well, you can go ahead and use CTAS statement. So these are just a few uses. We will be covering more in detail. Now, the only point to remember is create table as select. If you see the statement itself, it is creating a table. It is not creating an external table. So it needs a space, right? It needs a storage. So for that, you have to remember that you have to use dedicated SQL pool while using CTAS, because CTAS works with dedicated SQL pool only. Now, so serverless SQL pool in Azure Synapse Analytics will not support CTAS statement, because serverless SQL pool, they have the typical usage for them is to create external tables. So let's go ahead, go to the portal. I'll directly go to the portal and show you what all we can do with this statement. So let's say that you already have a fact internet sales table created. Now when you created the table, you just used a simple create table statement like this that I'm showing on the screen right now. So this is the simple create table statement. Let me highlight it. Yeah. And in fact, it will be better if I can zoom it for you. Okay, so basically, this is a create table statement, and a simple create table statement. There is no structure defined to it. Now, when I say no structure defined to it, I basically mean the distribution in Synapse over here. You have not defined any distribution. And in my previous video, I have already told that if you create a table like this, by default, the distribution will be a round robin distribution, right? And now let's say you have already created this table, and let's run this statement to create this table. And remember that you have to be connected to a dedicated pool in case you are trying to create such kind of tables which need storage. So now if we go and check the databases, inside it has the table fact internet sales, right? It has created this table. Now let's say that I want to change the distribution of the table. Now in this case, I'm going to use the task statement. So now guys, I'll again try to zoom it a bit more. Yeah. So now what you see on the screen, create table fact internet sales with. Now this is how you use a task statement. Create table as select, right? Now where you are defining create table, you are defining in the line number 31, this is create table. You are defining the table and the table configuration as select, and now this select is from your previous table fact internet sales. So this is how you can use create table statement to change the distribution. Now when I'm creating this table, I am defining that I'm going to use clustered column store index, and which will actually store the data in form of columns. And distribution, I am trying to use hash distribution based on the product key, which is a column, and I'm defining the partitions, right? So let's run this statement, and let me zoom in over here. Let's go ahead and run the statement. Now this statement is executed. We'll go quickly and refresh our dedicated SQL pool, and we will see that whether this table has been created or not. So now you can see that fact internet sales, let me zoom it again because these are like very uh, small. Okay, so now you can see this fact internet sales new table has already been created. And now to check the distribution as well. So now you can see this symbol over here, right? For dbo.demo, for the fact internet sale itself, you can check, right? So this is the icon over here. And you can see the difference in the icon between fact internet sales and fact internet sales new, right? The first icon basically symbolizes round robin distribution. And the second icon symbolizes hash distribution. So by looking at the icon itself, you should be able to know which is round robin and which is hash. So now I have already created the same table with the changed distribution, right? And now what I can do is I can simply rename my previous table and previous table to something like fact internet sales old, and the new table which I actually want to use, I can just rename it to fact internet sales. So let's do it. Let's rename it. Okay, I'll again run this statement. So I'm just renaming fact internet sales, which is the first table, to old, and the second table, fact internet sales, to the new table. Okay, let's refresh it actually. Before running the second statement itself, I'll run this. Now you can see I have two tables, right? Fact internet sales new and fact internet sales old. Now let's rename the new one also to fact internet sales. Now this command has also run. So now let's go ahead and refresh it. And now you can see that you have your fact internet sales table over here. You have your fact internet sales, and you can see that this is not a round robin distribution. This is the hash distribution which you have specified. So this is one usage of your CTAS statement. And now we can go ahead and drop the old table because we will not even need it, right? So let's go ahead and drop that table as well. Now again, I'll go ahead and refresh this. And now you can see that you have only fact internet table, fact internet sales table with the particular distribution that you have provided. So this is how the first usage of your CTAS goes on. Now coming on to the second second usage of the CTAS statement. Let's say you want to change the data type of the column, right? So let's say you want to change it from int to something else. Now you want to change the constraint. So let's say you want to change the nullability, right? If some column is not null, you want to make it as null. So in that case also you can use it as statement. So let's go ahead and see how it can be done. So the first statement that the statement that you can see that I have highlighted over here, it is doing nothing, just it is creating one table with the distribution as hash on the customer key, and there are three columns basically over here. So one is the customer key, geography key, and customer alternate key. So two columns are int, and the third one is varchar with a certain type of collate, right? Now let's run this and let's try to create this particular table. We will actually try to change the structure of this table. We'll try to change the data type of these columns, right? Now we have run this statement, and let's see whether this table has reflected in our dedicated SQL pool or not. So now you can see you have this dim customer 2 table already created. Now it was a hash distribution as I've shown you, and now you can see how the symbol has also changed. Now coming below, now, this statement basically what it is doing, it is actually trying to create a table again as select. Now you can see create table as select, right? What it is doing, it is again using CTAS statement, and it is trying to change the data type. It is trying to change the nullability, right? It is trying to change the collation as well, right? Now, if you see this create table statement, so it is creating a table named as test. So it is changing the distribution as well, right? it is changing the distribution to round robin. So basically for dim customer 2, what we are trying to do, first thing, we are trying to change the distribution over here. Then create table as select CTAS. Now we want a customer key, right? So we are actually changing the column name over here, right? And then again you can see customer key into one, customer key change nullable. So what it exactly means is it is creating another column named as customer key change nullable. So the second column will be nullable, the first one is not nullable, right? So we are actually making sure that we are changing the nullability as well, right? In the similar way, we are casting customer key to be a decimal type, right? So these are the changes that we are trying to do. And then we are also changing the collation over here. So we have changed the collation as well here. So these are the changes that we are trying to do while creating a table test. But how we are selecting? We are selecting it from dim customer 2, which we created just now over here. So let's run this command as well. So now guys, I'll actually refresh this part and then you can see there is a one more table named as test over here, right? Now again, you can see the distribution is changed, right? Now you can see the symbol of round robin distribution in this dbo test that is created. So all in all, these were just small transformation inside it. So we are selecting the columns from dim customer 2 table only that we created. We changed the distribution type and we also changed the nullability of the column. We also changed the collation of the column, and this is how it can be done. Now again, you can go ahead just like what we did previously. You can since you have two tables, right? And let's say you just want to keep dbo.test itself, the one which you have made changes to, you can just rename it to dbo.demo again, just the way we did it in the previous table. So I'm just renaming the previous dim customer 2 to dim customer 2 old, and the test table that we have created just now, and I am just uh, renaming it to dim customer 2. So now if you go ahead and refresh this, so there will be only one table named as dim customer 2 which we have created, right? And coming on to dim customer 2 old, if you want to drop, you can drop this table as well. So now, till now, what we have seen that we can change the distribution, we can change the nullability of the column, we can change the collation, right? So these are the things that we have seen that we can do with CTAS statement. Let's see how we can create a replicate as well, right? So this is again a statement, create table, my table. In fact, I will change the name, that will be better, my table underscore replicate. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to create table as select star from the previous table that we have created dim customer 2, and I am making sure that the distribution is replicate, right? So we can go ahead and run this statement, and then if we go ahead over here and let's go ahead and refresh it, then you can see that you have this replicate, and you can see again, let me zoom it more again. Okay, so now if you see on the left hand side that this replicate table, my table dot underscore replicate, right? It has again a different icon, and this one is hash one and the other one is round robin. So this is how you can differentiate as well between the two tables. So again, if you want to rename it and drop the previous one, you can go ahead and drop it. In the similar way, if you want to create a table, let me highlight only this part. So let's say you want to create a table with a fewer columns than the existing table, right? So if you create my table, let's name it as underscore few columns. So you have this table dim customer 2, and you just want to create one table using just two columns out of it. So again, in that case, you can do create table, your table name, and you can just provide just as in the select statement, as select statement, you can just keep those two columns. So here we are keeping only customer key and the last name, right, from the dim customer 2. So this is another way in which you can use it as. You can also actually provide query hints. So when I say query hints, I actually mean that whenever you are writing a create table as select statement, and let's say you're providing a join, so I'm highlighting this part. So let's say you are providing a join. So when you are giving option and in brackets, let's say you want your query to execute with hash join algorithm, right? So that is a hint that you are providing to the query, right? That in the background, whenever you process this query, you are telling to analytics that please go and use hash join while creating the query plan. So whenever you execute or write a query plan is generated, right? Now in this query plan, it will by default, just because you have provided a query hint with the keyword of option in bracket hash join, it will by default go and try to do hash join on your query, because you are trying to join two tables and it will try to use hash join. And when it comes to hash join, it is nothing, it is just an algorithm where basically you have a hash table, and that hash table is basically used to find the matching rows between the two tables which you have provided as input, right? So that is one another way in which CTAS can be used. Let's say that you have an external table, right? Regarding external table, actually I have created one video. Part 12 is regarding external tables. You can go ahead and check that out. It very well explains how to create an external table as well. So if you have an external table created, so in that case as well, you can simply use create table as select star from that particular external table. So let's say click stream ext, that is the external table that I have created. Let's say now this is how you basically create an external table. I have explained the whole process previously in one of my videos, video number 12. You can go ahead and check that out. Now once you have this external table already created, you can go ahead and then create a table on top of your external table using create table as select star from the external table, right? So this is again one way in which you can go ahead and use your CTAS function. Now here comes the another part of let's say you want to load the data into a table. So in traditional SQL Server, how you do that if you want to load a data into a table? So you would typically use this statement, right? Select star into that particular table, if it is a temp table or whatever. Select star into that table from the actual table from where you want to load the data. But this statement doesn't work in Azure Synapse. Now for that, you have this option. You have this is the way in which you can load the data while selecting it from another table, and you can load it into another table. Now when I say create table, I'm basically creating a temporary table. Regarding this hash symbol also, I have explained in my previous video that this is basically a temporary table that we are creating. Now create table temp fact with distribution. So distribution you can name anything as select star from the fact internet sales. So this is how basically you create, we can run it because we have this table fact internet sales, and you can see that a temporary table will be created. Now guys, basically this is another one way in which you can replace select star statement through this CTAS function. So this create table, you are properly defining the structure of the table. You can change the table structure as well, and then you are doing select star from some other table. So the whole gist lies over here only. You are creating a table, you can change the distribution of that table, you can change the column types, you can change the nullability of the column, you can selectively select only few columns which you want to select using CTAS function. And now the CTAS, not function, CTAS statement. Now the CTAS statement is only used in dedicated SQL pool because it will actually create your tables, right? So it is only used in dedicated SQL pools. So I hope these things are clear right now. And do let me know in the comment section if you have any doubts. I will try to clear them out. And stay tuned. Do like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much.